reserving the right to object to Senator Paul's request to discharge S-2265, the committee. This legislation that Senator Paul has been referring to has not been considered by the committee. I mean, it was just introduced in the last day or so, I think. And as chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and on behalf of the Republican ranking member, Senator Corker, who had to depart to return back to Tennessee, but otherwise would have joined me in making remarks, I come to the floor to express our opposition to an effort to circumvent the normal legislative process and deprive the members of our committee the opportunity to decide whether to take up this legislation. The authorization to provide or cut U.S. assistance to the Palestinian Authority is clearly in the purview of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and it should have its members decide if it is appropriate, be fully and openly considered by the committee. The bill is a blunt force instrument that would risk the collapse of the Palestinian economy in the West Bank. That is not in Israel's interest, and it is not in our interest either. The bill would shift the burden of dealing with a failed state on its borders to Israel. That's certainly not my goal, and I would hope it's not Senator Paul's goal either. Our goal should be to get back to a process and a negotiation towards a two-state solution that will allow Israel to live in peace and security. We need to allow the parties, particularly Mr. Abbas, the time to steer back towards a productive path to peace. To be clear, his time is limited, and in this, I'm in agreement with Senator Paul. President Abbas must ultimately choose between a future that envisions two states living side by side in peace and security, or a destructive unity pact with a terrorist organization whose stated objectives to make sure there is no two-state solution. A unity government, not a unity announcement, but a unity government between Fatah and Hamas has consequences that are clear under existing U.S. law. If Mr. Abbas definitely opens the door to Hamas exercising influence in the Palestinian Authority, I will encourage my colleagues to stand with me in exercising the existing legal authority to halt assistance to a government that includes parties that rejects Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state and continues to support terrorism. For those reasons, Mr. President, I must object to the Senator's request.
Objection is heard.